I went to school in Ibadan, and I do believe that Ibadan needs to be brought to the 21st century. The numbering of houses, for instance, has anything been done about that?
I'm very happy.
221 stroke something stroke.
Yeah, as is E6 stroke 50.
How do you locate a place with that kind of address?
Very good. First of all, let me say that for going to school in Ibadan, I hope you've been plowing back into the school, because right now the government has a program. No, the government has a program which is the Schools Governing Board, whereby government recognizes the fact that, look, there's a problem with education. Does a problem have to do with funding? Certainly yes. Do we have the funds? No. So government has opened up the management of schools. The 628 public secondary schools in Oyo State are run by a schools governing board, comprising of all students associations, community leaders, philanthropists so they run the schools. Okay, whatever fees, the 1,000 naira the students pay, they use it to run the school, and it allows people like you and I to contribute, to the development of education. All students, I know people who have contributed 125 million and all of that. But going back to your question, that is why the government has embarked upon what we call the Ibadan Master Plan, because the Master Plan is what negates all this development, that is arbitrary. Okay, so we have an Ibadan Master Plan right now, which the consultants have forwarded, and that's going to help future developments of the city. And we're starting for Ibadan because obviously it is the biggest. So, in direct answer to your question, we now have a master plan that is going to regulate development and control physical, development in the state, which is something that has never been done. And therefore, you will see that issues like flooding, street trading, illegal structures, putting petrol stations in residential estates, and all of those things will be controlled. So that's what we're doing. But whether we like it or not, it's a traditional city. It's a very, very ancient and cultural city. My permanent home address will still be E6-50 Alafaro Olubado, because there's hardly anything you can do with some of those places. That's the honest truth. And even if you go abroad, if you go to Rome, if you go to London, there's old city, new city. Whether you like it or not, we still have to keep some of those.
So you're planning a new city for?
Okay, of course there'll be satellite towns, and things will change. Tradition, culture is dynamic. It has to move with the times.
Okay, I'll take you back to the issue of salaries. Now, from the information we have,
yes,
it's like the core civil service and local government staff have been taken care of up till March, as you said. You confirmed that. Yeah. Are there still others that have not been paid since December last year?
There will be, yes. There would be.
So why do we have?
I know where you're heading. I know where you're heading, and this has to do largely with those in some parastatals and tertiary institutions. That's where we're going. And what's the deal with them? It's very simple. Government cannot afford to pay subventions anymore because, of course, the purse or the pie is smaller now. So the mandate to the tertiary institutions, you have to be self-sustaining. Okay, so that's where you have what is happening, for example, at Lautech. And indeed, Lautech was able to, survive for like 18 months until the ASU there said, sorry, why must we be using internally generated revenue to pay salaries? We should be using subvention, which is no longer coming. And I think there's a dissonance there for me. And if you ask me, people in the ivory tower should have seen the way the economy was coming, so they should be ready for it, or they should have been ready for it. Now, the point is, subvention is assistance, aid. Okay, it's not compulsory. Okay, so once it's no longer coming, we needed to change the paradigm, a mind shift. We need to look at how we're going to be self-sustaining. And right now, for example, in that university, there is a forensic audit, going on, which is helping to say, okay, should we continue this way or that way? For example, Lautech, the fees per annum is about 70,000. Some nursery schools, don't even pay such. So we need to change, the paradigm. We need to change our mindset and move on, because we cannot stay in one place and expect things to change. We got to move. So that really is a situation with them, and so for all of them. And some of them are already moving up. Some of them are now doing bakeries. Some of them are now doing water, to show up their internally generated so that they can meet their financial obligations.
But are you concerned about the burden on the students and their parents? Because the parents who haven't received their salaries completely are now forced to pay more for education for their children in these schools. So Are you concerned about that?
Yeah, we are concerned about it, definitely, but let us face reality. You already said that I won't come here to say what is not going to happen or what is not right. Generally speaking, and I believe that you and I, we've changed our lifestyle a bit since this economic recession. You've adjusted. I have adjusted.
Adjusted upwards or downwards?
Oh, look. These days you do more of dispenser water than bottled water. It's cheaper. You got to look at it. I did it in my house. I looked at it. This bottled water costs X amount on a monthly basis. If we do more of the dispenser water, and you talk to the children, look, sorry, it cannot go on like this. Yes, because it's in the past. And I'm saying on the larger picture too, we all must adjust. And I'm sure you have adjusted. It's just that you are not telling me how you have adjusted. But what I'm saying is that it cannot be, we must wait for our salaries. Unless we get our salaries, government must pay salaries. No, we must all work together. Okay. For example, LAUTECH is a University of Technology. They are doing courses that have no relationship with technology, or even going beyond what the Nigerian Universities Commission said. So they are biting more than they can chew. Okay, there are also tertiary institutions in certain areas where we probably need to merge once we get the final report. Because if you have three that are not viable, why don't you merge the three into one and have satellite campus? So there has to be some huge degree of restructuring. It cannot be business as usual. So that's the way forward. Okay. And that's what government is trying to do right now.
Okay. Oyo State used to have the unsavory reputation of being the dirtiest state in the country. Any improvement in that regard?
Much improvement. And look, and it's not only about the environment. We're talking, and I'm happy the way he said some, but I think it's massive in terms of the infrastructural development. People now go to Ibadan, and I don't know the last time you were there, and I can offer you a visit. You will say that people no longer say, I was in Ibadan last weekend, the city has not changed. No, we've gone beyond that. People now miss their way. People don't recognize, the old, parts of Ibadan and a few things that have changed. Because what government has done massively in terms of infrastructural development, dualization of roads. Every major town in your state has a dual carriageway that leads you in and out of it. And even on the roads within the state, once you get into the state, there is a road network that government is, that has a backbone. And there are a lot more that we are doing, in terms of roads. When you get to Ibadan, and honestly, I'm sincere, you guys can come, you would miss your way. Especially for her.
Especially for her.
Yeah, because she knows how it used to be, but maybe you don't. But we'll show you pictures of what it used to be.
I have family in Ibadan, so I have an idea. But okay, as we wind down now, there's you've talked about the laudable things you're doing, the efforts to ensure that things change and move better. What should the indigents or residents of your state expect to see?
Okay, that's
really the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, that's really why for this 6th anniversary, which is unprecedented in Oyo State, no governor has done a second time. So 6 years is huge. And what we're doing right now is to unveil the future of Oyo State. And I'll give you just quickly some examples. The future of agriculture in Oyo State, we have agricultural zones right now. We have a pace-setter farm model that, after the Songhai farm, in Republic of Benin. We have the industrial park, we have the free trade zone. I'm saying that those are the things that, in another 18 months, you begin to see. And we're talking about the future of Oyo State. I don't like the way you are smiling because
no, I'm smiling because we have to go now. Thank you. Thank you so much, the Commissioner for Information, Culture and Tourism of your state, Toye Arulogun. Thank you for speaking with us, and we wish you happy.
I hope I can come back here. We can look at it. And I'm still extending that invitation when you come, specially, we'll do something specially, and you can see what Oyo State looks like right now.
Thank you so much. Sunrise will be back shortly. Please don't go away.